All right. Welcome back to another episode of Hondo's Blockbuster. And today we are back with another movie review. Like I mentioned last week, there's a lot of really good movies coming out this time of year. Usually they do. But honestly, the last 2 weeks, we've had two big blockbusters dropping in November. And so we're going to be talking about the second one, and that is The Running Man, starring Glen Powell, Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo, Michael Cera, I already said Josh Brolin. William H. Macy. It's honestly a stacked cast coming out, directed by Edgar Wright, and I got a chance to see it last night in an early screening. So here are my thoughts. But before that, if you're here, please like, comment, subscribe. Anything helps. We do movie reviews. We're doing movie drafts every week. Got a lot of content underway, and it is movie season. So please stay tuned, and also follow us on social. Hondo's Blockbusters, Instagram, TikTok, anything that you use. Find me on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, David Hondo _. So, I think with that, we are going to kick it off with my initial thoughts. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I'm a huge fan of Glen Powell. I'm a huge fan of Edgar Wright, his movies, and what he does. And this was a big action, R-rated action movie coming out in November. This is obviously based on a book. This is based on Stephen King's novel. And then obviously people probably will compare it to the Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s movie, which I will say is completely different. Like, it's supposedly this one's closer to the book. I haven't read the book, so I have no idea. Obviously we do not read on the show. We watch movies. And so I don't know, but supposedly this one's more accurate. But this is actually pretty different than the Arnold one. Obviously what they're like, the messaging is similar in terms of like the media manipulation and the dystopian world that they're a part of is all there from the Arnold movie and from the book and this one. But they add a few elements to this that make it a bit more modern, especially with the stuff they do with AI. So, and what did I fully think of it? I thought it was a good movie, just not great. I expected a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more from it, but still a really good movie. Like, I enjoyed myself. I walked out. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this movie. I'm curious to see what, one audience say, two critics say. But it's a good movie with a few things that I think would have taken it to the next level for me. We will kick it off with the good, though. All right. And the good is this cast. This cast is stacked, starting from Glen Powell, who leads this movie. Glen Powell, the Tom Cruise is strong with you, my friend, because Glen Powell is probably one of the biggest modern day movie stars that we have. But his charisma, his charm, and he's playing in this movie kind of a more angrier role than we've seen him. We've seen him play kind of the douche in Top Gun Maverick. We've seen him do the leading man stuff. But now he's taking the leading man status, kind of playing this like angry but person you root for because of his circumstances. He does a great job. I thought the surrounding cast of Josh Brolin, William H. Macy, some of these guys I already mentioned. I think everyone's does a really good job. I do have a little bit of a con later that we'll get to the bat in terms of the cast and I guess the size of their parts. But for me, the actual real standout, as good as Glen Powell is, he's an absolute movie star. Josh Brolin's really good. But Coleman Domingo just steals every scene he's in. Like, he plays the TV host of the show, The Running Man. And every time he's on screen, like, I wanted more of him. Every time like he came, he garnered everybody's attention. He kind of plays it a little bit over the top, but a lot of the satire of what they're covering in terms of like kind of their take on obviously on the media in this world, I thought he absolutely knocked it out of the park. He was probably my favorite character in the movie. So I thought he did a great job. But the cast all around, pretty exceptional. In terms of how it looked, the movie looks great. A lot of the action scenes look actually really well done. And I like the world that they created, specifically in the first half, right? I'll touch a little bit later on in terms of, again, some of the things in terms of how the second half goes. But the first half, I thought it looked really cool, this dystopian world where, it shows of where Glen Powell's character is from, and he's poor and he's from the slums. But the look of it, like, obviously it's supposed to be a futuristic version of today, but the sets look great, the effects look great, so everything about the movie looked great. There's a few things a few elements that where they take it, it felt a little bit rushed toward the end, but I like the buildup of it, and I like the story in general, right? It's essentially it's about this guy who's down on his luck, and he needs to make money for his family, specifically for his sick daughter. And so in this world, in this version of Earth, of the version of America, essentially there's these game shows that you can win. The Running Man, you win $1 billion. And so essentially what you have to do is you have to survive 30 days of everyone trying to kill you. And if you survive, you get the $1 billion. But each day and each comes to like little money things and whatever. I thought it's a super cool concept. It gets really dark in the sense of like you're watching this and you're like, man, like this is imagine this like it feels like I know it's like a mix of satire, but like in a world where it's like, man, like can you imagine like this? Like they are making comments in terms of the media and spinning and a lot of with AI, right? AI plays a big part in this movie and what they can do with deep fakes and things like that. That it feels like almost like close to home, where of like, oh my God, can you imagine they do this? So all that I thought was really interesting. And when they dive into that element of it, I think that's when it works best. And yeah, so it's listen, it's hard to say that it's like, because it's definitely a fun movie. It's a fun action movie, but like it's also got like some really dark undertones to it that are really interesting to explore. So yeah, so overall, like there's a lot of good in this movie. All right, there's a lot of good. It's definitely a good movie, but I had my anticipation so high for this movie, and so there was a few things that kind of are holding me back from taking it to that next like great level. And that's where I will kick into the not necessarily bad, but some issues that I had with it. And the first is I thought the action wasn't as well done as I'd like. Like what I mean by that is like, you're probably when I say the action, it's like, oh, Big Dum Dum needs his action. Yeah, Big Dum Dum does need his action. This is a rated R action movie, and I was expecting more gnarly kills and better hand to hand. Like there's not much of that. A lot of that, what they show in the previews of like where they're showing like clips of the Running Man do play in the movie, but they're kind of like background, like they're either on a TV or on a screen. And so you're seeing some of these like crazy kills happening kind of outside of the actual story. And the action that does happen, this is a pet peeve of mine, all right? And I get it. I'm an action movie junkie, and it happens in all action movies. It happens in Mission Impossible, which is my favorite action franchise of all time. I get it. If there's a guy, the hero's running down a straight line and you got these goons shooting guns at you, obviously they're not going to hit, and you see the effects popping around him. Like they do that like 15 times in this movie, and it gets to a point where I'm like, man, like, okay, like, it make it at least a little bit more realistic in the sense of like make him like go a different route, like or something. I don't know. Like the action didn't lock me in as much as I would have liked it to. There's some great act, like the final action set piece. Again, this is non-spoiler, so I won't say what it is. I thought that was well done. It's creative. It was different than the other ones, but some of the action just felt a little bit bland to me. I expected a bit more, especially the fact that it's rated R. Like I wanted, like, it felt, the action actually felt PG-13 in a rated R movie. And that's like a personal pet peeve of mine. So I do have to put that in the negative. The second part about it is in terms of the look, I touched on it in the good, right? A lot of the especially the futuristic cities, and there's a few cities that you go to that look really good, but kind of the second half of the movie, you kind of go away from that, and it doesn't look like, it kind of takes away that futuristic feel to it, because it's more like countryside, which I get why they did it, but I don't know. It just the vibe of it kind of took a shift that I wish kind of stuck with that futuristic and dystopian feel to it. But that's kind of just a minor gripe. And then another minor gripe is, like I mentioned, it's got a pretty big cast, but like a lot of them don't really have anything to do. And this isn't a spoiler or anything. Obviously, William H. Macy, it's kind of got like second billing in this thing. Like when they do the names, like William H. Macy's like the second name they give. I think he's got like 2 lines in this thing. Like they're very small parts sprinkled in throughout that I would have liked a little bit more with some of the characters that I really liked. So, but yeah, that's the only reason why I kind of left feeling like I liked it, but like it felt like it was missing something. And I think if they would have brushed up a bit more, like onto the action side of things, I think this could have been one of my favorites of the year, to be honest, because it is a very good movie. I know the second half of talking more negatively, but it is still a very enjoyable movie. I do think you should go out and see it. Go out and see it in theaters. I think it's one that it feels like a summer blockbuster that is releasing in the fall. And Glen Powell is a movie star. So, So in terms of how I'm going to rate it, I am going to go. I'm going to go as a 7.2 out of 10 for The Running Man. Again, not a bad score. It's still a good movie. It just from how much I anticipated, how much I wanted this movie to be good, it did kind of let me down just a little bit. But still, it's still a recommendation. Go see it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, that is my non-spoiler review of The Running Man. Again, if you made it this far, please hit us with a like, comment, subscribe. We've got a lot of new stuff coming. We've got a lot of stuff, different drafts, like I mentioned, rankings. Everything's coming. End of the year. We're ending it big. Stay tuned. And as always, see you at the movies.